The New Orleans Pelicans have quietly gone 8-4 since the All-Star break, with their roster finally being the closest to healthy that it's ever been this close to the playoffs. We're going to talk about the chances that the New Orleans Pelicans are the dark horse in this NBA playoffs. We're going to get into all that and more right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for everything basketball related. I'm the host, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at NBA Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go to get into this content. So I want to just talk about this, right? The New Orleans Pelicans have been 8-4 since the All-Star break. They are the example of health in a lot of ways, the healthiest they've been in an extremely long amount of time. And for the first time ever, Zion Williamson seems like he's going to get to play in the playoffs this upcoming year, which already raises the ceiling of what that New Orleans Pelicans team can be. When you look at the fact that for the first time in a while, the New Orleans Pelicans also have a positive net rating with Zion on the court. Again, that's not a knock on Zion or anything like that. We know there have been reasons to go into that. The Pelicans are shaping up to be a team that can absolutely make some noise in the Western Conference in this upcoming playoffs. When you look at it right now, they're 41-26 on the season, good enough for the fifth best record in the Western Conference. They're only a game and a half back behind that Los Angeles Clippers team. A Clippers team, by the way, that they have won more games than not against, right? This is a team in the New Orleans Pelicans that the roster's healthy. Knock on wood that it stays that way. Zion Williamson's getting prepared to play his first playoffs. And while, yeah, you don't want to put a whole lot of expectations on a player the first time and they're really getting a chance to play in the postseason, but the thing that kind of gives the New Orleans Pelicans even more of kind of that nod to kind of be that dark horse is the fact that the defense that they play. And Zion Williamson is impacting the game of basketball in an amazing way for this team right now. Like I said, having the first positive net rating, why Zion's been on the court over 10 games that they've had, right? And this team's just playing extremely well. Now, this team is not without its own Achilles heels. While they have the fifth best three-point shooting percentage in the NBA, they're a bottom 17 as far as three-point shooting attempts, which, depending on the team that you face, could very well cause some issues for you. Just that simple math problem. If you have a team that's able to get the volume threes that maybe the Pelicans can't match. But the fact that the Pelicans are still an efficient three-point shooting team and the brand of defense that they play, the fact that when Herb Jones is fully healthy, you can put him on just about any player 1 through 4. That type of defensive versatility while having Zion Williamson in the game as well is just something that you look at and you say, it's going to be tough for teams to overcome that. You also got Trey Murphy, who's become a big part of that team and what he's done coming off the bench for that team. This is a team that I think when you look at, depending on how the matchups fall for them, right, that's going to be a key thing. They can have, and not saying that they're going to have any type of easy run through the Western Conference playoffs, but they are a team that can have a run through the Western Conference playoffs. Again, matchups withstanding, and of course, the biggest elephant in the room, can they stay being healthy as they've been here recently? The Pelicans are playing some of the best basketball that we've seen from them, period. And because of that, I really look at this Pelicans team and say, this team not only can make some noise, they can absolutely start look like, if they haven't already to some people, look like contenders. And the fact that Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, at previous times in their NBA career, Zion's looked really good when Brandon Ingram has sat or been on the bench, and vice versa for Brandon Ingram when Zion hasn't been in there. But now, Zion fully healthy, their chemistry going, and rock and roll, they figured out how to play together. And it could be that one of the things that have benefited this team the most is the fact that they did have to go on those runs without Zion Williamson. Zion is right now on pace to play a career-high number of games and minutes this season. That's it. And his raw scoring numbers are a little bit down, but it's because of the Pelicans are a much more well-rounded team. And Zion Williamson has become also a play initiator for this team as well. He has an assist percentage that's right up there with an actual point guard like Dame Lillard. Yeah, the numbers aren't as mind-boggling or just blow out the stat sheet at you, but Zion is getting in the flow, and Zion's the type of player that if you get, he can dictate a playoff series theoretically with how he's going to play. And when you look at it, players that have been on the rise, the young players, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, you got to start putting the name of Zion Williamson in there, and the fact that Brandon Ingram, 1A, 1B, however you want to look at them, They are playing together extremely well. This is the second time in 5 seasons that Williamson and Ingram have been on the court for more than 22 games together. So it's right now, everything's pointing towards the Pelicans, the defense, the offense that they're able to do, how they play together, the coaching, things. I really do think that right now, the Pelicans, if we're looking at a team to truly be a dark horse in a way, I think the Pelicans fit that bill quite nicely in that Western Conference. And I think you got to look at it and say, man, hey, what they can even go up higher. They can get to the fourth seed. They may even be able to get higher than that over the remaining 15 games of the season. But the Pelicans have proved a lot this season. And the thing with it is that this could be sustained, right? You got a couple of more years before you got to worry about Brandon Ingram's deal. This Pelicans team is close to that second tax apron, so it's going to be a test to see in the future what this team is going to look like. How much is the ownership going to be willing to pay to keep this team together with what they've flashed and what they've shown? But it's been so much. You got Herb Jones, who's locked up under a contract. You got Trey Murphy III, who eventually you're going to have to lock in. But that's something you got to worry for down the road. This playoff series could be a big one for the New Orleans Pelicans in just the sense that this could be something that they could make a lot of noise. They can make it to. I do think that this Pelicans team has the ability to make it to a Western Conference Finals. The biggest question is, will they? Will the health maintain? Will they come up against a team that they just don't have any answers for, which could very well be possible? But like I said before, you look at Zion Williamson, in my opinion, and what he's been able to bring and how he can change a playoff series outright. And to me, that's something that a playoff Zion, man, that's something that just could really, really be scary for a team to try to stop. It really could. And like I said, you got most of this roster is going to be under contract next year. Going into next offseason, they have about $37 million under that second tax apron, about $19 million in room under the luxury tax. And they got some players that they very well may look to keep, right? What they're going to do with some of the players on their roster. But other than that, I tell you what, this Pelicans team, I think, is ready to make some noise. And I think they're going to be putting some people on notice who don't really quite realize just how damn good this Pelicans team could be, because I think they got a lot of things rocking and rolling and going in their favor. And I'm, for one, excited to see it. But you guys can let me know what you guys think, as always, down below. Make sure you're following the show at NBA Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, NBA Central Show at gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are hopefully going to be the number one spot for everything basketball related. And I'll see you guys the next time I feel like making a video. Probably tomorrow. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.